Near the beating heart of the city lay a small and inconspicuous cafe. There was nothing particularly special about this establishment, but due to its location, numerous encounters from all walks of life have taken place across its perfectly kept square tables. These are its stories. The night was cold. Steam lifted from the city drains and mingled with the moisture that clung to the air. Lightning must have been cast somewhere up there, beyond the steel sky, and the subsequent thunder rippled across the silver towers that lined the dense, overpopulated streets. The man did not care about the relentless rain that beat down upon him as he approached the cafe. It was nothing new after all. The neon sign buzzed above his head as he crossed the road, casting its colors over the puddles that formed on the pavement, as a warm glow of welcoming light escaped the large windows and enticed passers-by. The man entered, shook himself dry, and crossed the room to a corner booth where he sat, sighed, and placed a covered object upon the table. A couple near the counter briefly turned to eye this suspicious visitor and the napkin he had placed in front of him, before turning their attention back to the fumble game projected above their heads. The rain battered against the steamy windows of the cafe, a relentless drumbeat that echoed through every street of the city. But inside, the warm air was thick with the pleasant smell of sweet coffee. The man's gaze was fixed upon the entrance as the doorbell jingled, and a dark figure stepped in, shaking the rain from his coat. The figure scanned the room, his eyes quickly landing upon his target, and he made his way over, sliding into the booth across from the man.
You're late, priest.
And yet, you've only just arrived yourself, Ryan.
I did it.
The priest's eyes widened slightly, the only sign of surprise he allowed himself.
So, it's done then?
Ryan nodded, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and regret.
Yeah, it's done.
Please, tell me everything.
Well, I did as you said. I followed him back to the hotel. I waited outside in the rain for a moment. Struck me as quite a fancy place, you know? Even has these blue lights coming out of the gutter drains, so I felt out of place, especially being soaking wet and everything.
That is understandable, Ryan. It is a very luxurious and very expensive building. Would you mind holding on a second?
The priest had rightly hushed his companion as he witnessed the cafe's owner approach in the corner of his eye.
Good evening, both. Can I get you gentlemen anything?
Carrie studied the table before making a few positional adjustments to the alignment of the limited paraphernalia that lay upon it.
Just 2 coffees, please.
Certainly. I'll be right back.
Now, Ryan, please, continue.
Right, yeah, so when I walked in, I head straight for the lift, you know? But it turns out you can't use it without a key card. So I had to speak to the receptionist. A bit of a chatty lady, to say the least. Anyway, I had to book a room to get a card. And by the way, it was quite a lot of money, so I'm getting that back, right?
Yes, of course you are, Ryan. I told you everything would be accounted for, didn't I?
Yeah, okay. So, after I'd paid, I got a key card. So I went back to the lift, I got in, and I went to the top floor. And then I had to take the stairs for the last bit, you know, because the lift wouldn't let me go to the penthouse level.
I see.
Yeah, so I had to go outside, and I'm thinking, I'm going to have to break in or something, right? But then I see these lights of this outdoor pool. It's covered, like, from the rain and everything, but just a waist-high gate around it. And the fella, the target, is just sitting there, dangling his legs in the pool. I mean, what are the odds, you know? I don't have to break into anything, cause a mess, trigger any alarms or whatever. He's just right there.
Ha! That is indeed quite fortunate. And so you finished the job there and then, presumably?
Well, you see, there was a problem.
Aha. There was a guard.
Yeah, I thought there would be more, but yeah, just the one. I mean, I thought you said this guy was a big shot or something.
In the business world, Ryan, he is. But it's not like he's a celebrity or anything.
Okay, well, I approach the gate, and the guard notices me. He says something, I can't remember what it was, but the business guy, he turns his head, so I have no choice at this point, right? So I pull out my gun and shoot the guard, like point blank, and he goes down like a sack of potatoes. And then the business guy starts panicking, and he...
Calm, please. Keep your voice down.
Right, so the business guy tries to stand up, but he slips, just as I shoot, and the guy falls into the pool, and the bullet goes over his head, right? So now I have to jump the gate, and this guy is like standing in the shallow part or whatever, and he's screaming his head off. So I shoot him twice in the chest, and he falls backwards, kind of just floats there in the pool, you know?
And you are sure he's dead?
I mean, the pool turned red pretty quickly, and like he had 2 holes in his chest.
What did you do then?
Anyways, by this point, I'd made quite a lot of noise, right? More than I needed to, more than I wanted to, certainly more than you asked for, that's for sure, which I'm really sorry about, but anyway, I just ran out of there, you know? I just ran.
And then?
I called you, and I've been waiting here ever since, over the street in the alley, you know? I didn't want to come in until I had to show my face and all that. You understand?
I understand perfectly, Ryan. You did the right thing. Now, hold on again.
Yeah.
Carrie arrived with a smile upon her face and 2 cups on a tray.
Here you go. 2 coffees. Anything else I can get for you?
No, that's fine. Thank you very much, replied the priest, waiting until she had disappeared behind the counter once more. The priest dropped 2 brown sugar cubes in his drink and stirred.
There we are.
Can I ask you something?
Of course, Ryan.
Why did I mean, you know, why did he have to...
In this day and age, Ryan, there are multi-conglomerates, billion-dollar companies fighting over trillion-dollar deals in a world that now has extremely limited resources. There is precious little time for drawn-out business negotiations of highly important and extremely urgent matters. These days in our profession, we find it a lot more efficient to hire assassins to take care of business decisions for us.
But you're not a business guy. You're a priest.
It may appear that way, but it's just a disguise. After all, who would expect a priest to be talking with an assassin, let alone hire one?
So, this guy, he wasn't bad?
Have you developed a conscience, Ryan?
No, but, I mean, I thought...
What did you think, Ryan? That you were doing the right thing under the eyes of the Lord Almighty? Did you think you were doing the world a favor?
No, not so much, but I thought he was up to no good or something at least.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ryan. But you failed to clarify any specifics when we agreed to pay you $500,000.
Ryan tilted his head down and pulled his coffee closer. His mind pondered on a recent memory. The priest took a sip and waited for the words to arrive. He could see the turmoil on Ryan's face, but his attention was briefly pulled to the projector at the center of the cafe. The fumble game had been interrupted, and the latest news flickered into life.
You know, when I was going through an underpass on the way here, I saw the lyrics of a song or a poem written on the wall. I barely had time to read it, let alone take it in, but it somehow captivated me, you know? Stopped me dead in my tracks. The glowing graffiti seemed to come out of the wall and into this three-dimensional space in my mind. The lyrics, so haunting and tauntingly real. I can't seem to erase them from my mind. They read, "Mold my body and program my mind. Build me thrice and cover my seams. Process my brain and format my life. But please allow me my android dreams."
That is very interesting. Sounds like a catchy song.
It moved me deeply. Why do you think those words resonate so much?
I believe you'll find the answers you're looking for soon, Ryan.
The priest once again turned his attention to the projection screen, this time displaying breaking news. The words flowed across the screen from right to left. Recent killings at Empire Hotel. 2 victims both deceased at the scene. One of them, a prominent businessman in the city. Police are searching for the suspect.
Well, congratulations, Ryan. And now it is time to finish your mission.
Finish the mission?
You may now terminate our contract, yes.
What do you mean? I thought I was...
Have you ever read The Diary of a Madman?
Said the priest, delivering the activation phrase with a decisive nonchalance as he rose, gathered his things, and promptly departed the cafe. Ryan, in a hypnotic state of trance, removed the napkin from the object he had placed on the table earlier, and now, picking up the exposed gun, he placed it against his forehead as if on autopilot, and a lone tear fell upon his cheek as he pulled the trigger. Ryan's body slumped in the booth, his head tilted over, his eyes flickered back and forth, and a clear liquid poured from the wound in his temple, accompanied by the occasional electrical spark.